Hey guys, I'm Jackie Brubaker, your host of That Girl the Podcast. I'm an author, performer, 2-time Emmy Award winner, human relationship specialist, and founder of the wellness website loveyouevenmore.com. Each week I bring on inspiring people and experts in their field to have powerful, motivational, and enlightened conversations about relationships, self-development, and how you can live your most authentic life. Follow us for daily updates on myself and the podcast at That Girl the Podcast and at Jackie Brubaker on Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, and our Patreon page. While you're at it, make sure to check out my new wellness website, loveyouevenmore.com. If you're wanting to dig into developing more self-worth, be healthier about relationships, and learn how to date smarter, go to loveyouevenmore.com and follow us on Instagram at loveyouevenmore. Welcome, Lara Riggio, to That Girl the Podcast. I'm very excited to have you on. You were a recommend from none other than Terry Cole, who is such an incredible woman. Just love her so much. And I asked her at the end of our podcast, who should I talk to? Who would you recommend? And she recommended you. And I was like, great. And then here we are. So I'm going to just put this like this. This is what you do. You turn painful moments into possibilities. So talk to us about what that is. And then also, we had a really beautiful session together. So let's talk about that. And I think everyone will truly understand who you are and what you do. And we'll just start.
I love it. Well, it was so great to meet you. And yes, we wound up getting into what my work is about through doing it when we met, because you were experiencing an upset in your own life. And I really believe from my own experience, I got into practicing energy work, because that's what I do, because I had chronic fatigue syndrome. I was tired all the time. It was a real pain point in my life for me because it inhibited me from being the person I wanted to be. I was exhausted all the time. When I would work out, I would get sick. And I was coming from a background of being a professional dancer and a personal trainer. And so here I was, this really physical person, and I couldn't be physical without literally getting sick. And I found something called Energy Medicine, a book by Donna Eden, and started doing sessions with a practitioner here in New York City. And it was miraculous, because at the time I was going to her home office. I had to climb up 5 flights of stairs. And after the first flight, I would literally have to stop and take a break. After doing the exercises she gave me regularly, by the second month I was seeing her, I bounded up all 5 flights with ease. And I was like, well, this is proof this is working. I feel better. There were all these physical milestones that I was able to cross and achieve, and really saw concrete results and I have to realize I had been going from doctor to doctor to doctor for year after year after year with little relief. And then this was working. And not only did it work, did I notice a difference over time, but I could be in the moment and feel like my energy was dropping and do a quick exercise and immediately feel re-energized again. And so it was really pretty phenomenal. And so, of course, having had that experience, I wanted to learn more. I
need this in my life forever.
Yeah, I went through that whole program and learned that. And then I got very interested in using energy work of all types to help with emotional issues, because one morning I woke up completely overwhelmed. It was a Saturday morning. I think we've all had this experience where we have a very long list of things to do, and the list seems so daunting that you can't even get started. So you kind of get stuck in procrastination mode. Mm-hmm. So that was me. And I found myself watching the news over in the same loop. When the same news loop went by 3 times, I was like, oh my God. And the time is just clicking by. And when am I going to get all this stuff done? And so I was getting more and more stressed. I said, you know what? I got to just go do that exercise that calmed me down before I went to sleep at night. I did it. I set my alarm for 15 minutes. I came back. I knocked 5 things off my list. I was like, anxiety, procrastination, gone. And so from that point forward, when I saw the results of that, I realized wow, I didn't even know that I was walking around anxious most of my life until I had that experience where I alleviated my anxiety. And in that 15-minute period, felt the difference between anxious and then relaxed, and how much more productive and effective I could be in the relaxed state. So I got more and more interested in how the meridian system, the Chinese meridian system, which acupuncturists use, acupressurists use, could affect our emotional reactions to life. And the amazing thing is that the meridian system, and also the chakra system and the Ayurvedic medicine system, they affect you physically and emotionally. So when you tap a point or you tap a chakra and you move energy through it, you can not only feel physical benefits, but also emotional ones as well. So it's fascinating, and it's just become my life's work. So I help people, with severe issues that can be as dramatic as long-term, PTSD, insomnia, chronic fatigue like I experienced, and even just like limiting beliefs that have a tendency to come up that block you from doing things you want to do, but you can't seem to achieve.
Right. Oh, it's huge. I mean, what you're doing is so important in, like you said, mental and physical, because they're so combined. If you have a mental block, it's going to show up in the body as a physical block. It's a matter of time before that pain starts to pop up. And then you're like, oh, right now I have I feel like my knees are very telling. They're like usually fine, but then out of nowhere, they're like, we're not happy because something's off with you. And I'm like, crap, what is it? I mean, go down the list, but yeah, my right knee right now is very persnickety. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to do all the physical things I'm supposed to do, but I'm pretty damn sure that it's it's on the right side of my body. So it's your masculine, it's your knee.
Side.
Pardon. Yes.
Yang side, your masculine side. So that's the side that helps move you forward, helps you be in action, helps you assert who you are in the world. Okay. So, I mean, if you want, I can just tap into it and see what's there for you. Would you like me to do that?
Sure, because this is perfect. Yes, this is perfect for everyone. This is what she does, and it's incredible. So I'll just sit here and
I also want to just say, what I'm doing right now. I have an app from Louise Hay that has that I like to pull up just to see what the emotional underlying cause for her is. And when I pull up Louise Hay's knee, the probable emotional cause behind knee problems is representing pride and ego. A new thought pattern would be, I am flexible and I am flowing. Let's see. I'm going to actually just say, I want you to say my right knee pain. Just say that for me.
My right knee pain.
And what I'm going to do is I'm going to muscle test myself as a surrogate for your body. Okay. So I'm going to be asking my body questions. If I were live with you, I'd be using your arm and I'd be asking your body yes or no questions and pressing on your arm to get your body's read on the answers to these questions. When I work online with people, I can do it with my own body and ask the same questions. So just going to
first, before you start, tell people what muscle testing is, because I've done a lot of it. We've talked about this, but explain what it is, because if they're listening for the first time, they're like, I don't know what that means.
That is. So, by the way, I didn't either before I went to my first energy medicine session, right? And the woman said, put your arm out. And she had me say, press up, resist my pressure. And so as someone pushing down, you're pushing up and resisting the pressure. So when you're doing that, your body is going to be able to tell you if something is potentially weakening or strengthening for you. Okay. Mm-hmm. Now, if I test specific acupuncture points or acupressure points that are, say, alarm points in your body that signify the health of a particular meridian, I can touch a point. And if that point is out of balance, your arm will go weaker. Okay. Wow. So this is the way your body can talk to me and tell me, hey, your bladder meridian, okay, is overactive or out of balance. Maybe it's your spleen meridian is out of balance or weak. And by taking a read on all the meridians and asking your body about each one of them, I can understand maybe, what's going on with you from a physical standpoint, but also from an emotional one, because each meridian has an emotional theme as well as a physical function.
Amazing.
That makes sense?
I get it.
So one thing I'll say to people is that I want to show you, this is great that we're doing this together and you're going to experience and people will be a part of the experience, because when you explain this, you're like, yeah. You don't necessarily get it until you actually see it or have it done. And you'll get to see a little bit more of it now as we go through this and understand what I'm talking about, because I'm just saying these things and you're like, okay, but what does that really mean? So, and one of the things I have been told many, many times by a lot of people, so much that I think it's something, I guess, kind of special about me, is that I'm very practical about this work. I live in New York City. I work with a lot of people that are very New York. So they're like super results oriented, a lot of, bankers, lawyers, really successful business people. And, the thing that is always said to me is that, wow, you really make sense out of this. My friend told me I had to see you and they tried to explain this and I didn't get it. But being here, wow, the difference between the way I feel before and after, you just help me heal or help me process something I've been struggling with for months or years in a span of an hour. And it's remarkable. So they see the results. So I wouldn't even be doing this work. I know it seems a little woo-woo and a little out there, but it really is. One of my clients who's a really successful businessman calls this practical magic. He's like, I need my practical magic.
It is though. And it's so interesting in the sort of healing arts. Like you come into it totally skeptical and then you do it and like it works. And you're like, how the hell did that work? That doesn't even make sense. It does, but it doesn't, right? Because you're still so skeptical. But then once you start feeling your body change, watching your emotions change, and it stays like that. And you can, like you said, like when you had that moment where the anxiety was just so overwhelming, you did a practice and you're like, oh, I'm ready to knock 5 things off my list. It really is that simple. So it's more of like having an open mind.
Well, and really a lot of people find me when they're end of the rope, where I was at the end of my rope with chronic fatigue. And so I was looking for every answer. I was actually open-minded to try everything because Western medicine didn't work for me. Right. So I was like, please let something work. And luckily this did. And I really liken it to, it's a form of training, the way that I work, because the same way that you could train your body to run a marathon, you also can train your body to overcome emotional stress, overcome insomnia, the symptoms of PTSD, like I talked about. You can also train your body to overcome limiting beliefs. So if, let's just say, public speaking is really nerve-wracking for you, that's a physical reaction to a specific stress. Doing these exercises that can calm a sympathetic stress response in the face to that trigger can help you be able to then go and public speak without any anxiety at all, because we've trained it out of you. Yes. That's the beautiful thing. And so it's very practical and it's very systematic. It's just a question of trying to see what's right for you. So that's what we're going to do with you right now. I'm going to go ahead and test here on my lap. And I just want you again to say, my knee pain.
Okay. My knee pain.
And I'm just going to ask, is she best served by working with energy work today? I say yes. With meridians? No, it's chakra related, which means, so your chakra system embodies your perspective on the world. Okay. And in different circumstances, meridians from an emotional standpoint often are dealing with habituated responses or reactions to things, whereas chakras embody like how you actually see situations. And in a lot of times when you're growing and you're changing your perspective about life and what's possible because you're upgrading it, like if you now want to do something different, are you doing something different? Are you embarking on something new right now? That's what I would
Yes.
are. Okay. So because knees and hips often have to do with like moving things forward too.
Oh, okay. That
And
makes sense.
so when I see that somebody has a chakra issue and it's knees or hips, like, what are they doing in their life that may be new, where we have to shift their internalized perspective of who they are in the world to then meet what they want to do. So I have chakras. So back to just focus on your knees. So we have chakras, and we're going to do that. We're going to look at, there is a fear. So there's a priority fear somewhere from your past that is somehow blocking whatever this is that you're doing. So we can talk about what that is once I determine it. So that's priority, that's priority, that's priority. So first part. So I'm now testing a list of fears that I have here on my phone. 1, 2, 3. Interesting. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay. Interesting. I mean, this goes with what we were talking about. There's a fear of fulfilling your destiny or not fulfilling your destiny. Okay. So the knee is like, should I go forward with this or should I not? Because it's almost like fear of success or feel of failure here. Okay. So, and let's just see which chakra is affected. So just say releasing the fear of fulfilling my destiny. Can you just say that? Releasing
the fear of fulfilling my destiny.
Okay. So it's a third chakra imbalance. Third chakra is your identity center. It really embodies who you are, what you feel you are, and how you serve in the world. It also helps you understand what you truly want. And it helps you be conscious of that and feel the power to ultimately attain it. Okay. So I know you're facing something new. Is there anything you want to share?
Sure. I mean,
you're on the spot here, but
yeah, no, it's okay. I think, so I come from like a TV entertainment world. I've always been in that world. That's all I've ever known, all I've ever worked in. I'm a, singer, performer, the whole thing, but also have worked in TV my entire career. And I'm in school to become a marriage and family therapist. And while that is so aligned for me, it almost feels like I'm coming back to a past life. It's just amazing. It's so different than like anything I've done. And I'm like, okay, well, I don't have to do it the sort of traditional route. That's just never going to be me. I can't see myself in a private practice 24/7 with clients back to back. I'm more of the like, I'd rather be on camera, being an expert or an advisor, I have a podcast. Obviously, this is way more my speed. So I think the old part of me is like, no, we still really want to perform in a way. But the new part of me is like, yeah, but can we blend them together to make them something new? And I think that might be the push-pull. The other pain I've had for like, oh my God, probably 2 months is in my right hip flexor. It's like right where the top of my femur is into my hip. And it's just super annoying. So
it's interesting. So you got your yang side and your yin side, and you have knees and hips, and they really both are very much about moving forward. And so it's interesting because you are embarking on this new career, and that's very young. Like, I want to go do this, but your yin side is like, but is this aligned with my heart? And is this aligned with my history? Can we sustain doing this in a way that feels like me, like yourself? And I think that that's the big question. So I can see how the yin and yang sides are both involved in this. And I want to work with this chakra, and then we can see, if there's any change. Maybe you get up and just see if there's any difference in the way these joints feel. Okay. And what could be some action steps that you could do for yourself that would make more sense to your identity and your heart moving forward. And one of the things I just want everybody to get out there is that our upsets and our pain usually are a sign from our body, whether it's pain in the form of physical pain or any kind of upset in terms of emotional pain. There are signs that, hey, something's not quite right. It's your body's way of saying, hey, stop for a second. Look at what's happening here and listen to your heart.
Mm-hmm.
And I think in your case, the listening to your heart, some of the answers that you just gave yourself and all of us is that I don't necessarily have to do this the traditional way. Like that, the yang idea of like you kind of should do this or you have to do this in a way doesn't necessarily have to be that way. If you look at this from a more yin perspective, that's more of an internal, an internalized way to seek from your own heart, what feels right to you. That's how you can combine yang energy and move this forward with yin acceptance and acknowledgement of what you desire to create a fulfilling career. And for anybody out there, I'm a perfect example. I did not grow up saying I want to be a freaking energy worker, right? Yeah. Nobody even knew what energy work was when I was a kid. Nobody. Yeah. I mean, I was reading books that were, healing books and, by different people like Carolyn Meese and who else did I read when I was a kid? The Seed of the Soul, all these different books that I was inspired by. Where's her name? Ann Miller, The Drama of the Gifted Child, which is a psychology, one of my favorite books about codependency. And I was reading all of this stuff and it was feeding me and I think kind of motivating me in a direction of a healing career. But I didn't get here until I was in my late 20s, early 30s. And so I did not grow up thinking I wanted to be this, but I followed my heart. And I was a professional dancer. Then I moved into personal training because I wanted to help people move the way I love to move. Mm-hmm. And then I was working with all these people with injuries. And I myself got injured in chronic fatigue, looked for my own answers, started doing energy medicine. And I've morphed my business into this online, teaching platform that helps people all over the world now. And, people do my work in Australia, in London, in India. It's wild. And so, I'm able to help people in a way that I was helped. And it brings me so much joy. But this was not a path that I knew existed. And so it's proof of what Rumi says, follow your heart. It always knows. This is not quite the way he says it, but I follow your heart. It always knows the best way. Mm-hmm. And what that means is I'm giving everybody permission and you permission too, to sink into what parts of what you're doing speak to your heart. And you move into and spend time doing those things and you will create the path that is right for you. Mm-hmm. It's like creating your own yellow brick road.
Yes. Oh my God. That's very serendipitous that you should say that.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. And so the exercise I want to give you, and I want to give everybody out there. So everybody watching this, you can think about anything that I want to make this pertinent to you. So think about anything in your life that you feel like you want to do, but you're not quite sure how to do it. And it could be something that's not even career related. It could be, I want to start working out and I'm not sure what the best way to do it is that would keep me motivated. It could be something like, I want to get out there and date in the world and I don't know how to do it in a way that's going to feel good to me. Okay. So think about something that you want to do, but you're not quite sure how to do it in a way that feels right. Okay. So bring that up for yourself. You're obviously going to think about your career move. And I want you to hold with your, put one hand on your forehead. Okay. The other hand is going to go above your belly button. So right on your third chakra. And this is your identity center. And you're just going to tap your third chakra as you have your hand on your head. And so what we're doing is we're stimulating energy movement through the chakra. And when we do this and stimulate it, your chakras have energy from your past and they spin to the left, okay? And as we tap it, we are breaking up old energy that's no longer needed, okay? And we are aligning that chakra with new energy that's related to what we're saying that's going to help you support what you desire, okay? So as you tap, just want you to say out loud, I can do this my way.
I can do this my way.
I can do this in a way that's aligned with my heart.
I can do this in a way that's aligned with my heart.
I can do this in a way that brings me joy.
I can do this in a way that brings me joy.
I can do this in a way that feels inspired and energized.
I can do this in a way that feels inspired and energized.
All I have to do is pursue what brings me bliss. All I have to do is lean into parts of this that are interesting to me.
All I have to do is lean into the parts that are interesting to me.
And my interest.
And my interests.
And my curiosity. Will lead me down the right and perfect path for me. My heart always knows the best way for me. I'll pause here and then take a deep breath and exhale. And then just bring your hands on. I'm going to retest that previous phrase. So I want you to say, fulfilling my destiny. So now, how does it feel if you lean into this energetically, and emotionally, when you think about it? How does it feel, the idea of moving into being a marriage counselor in some way? Because it doesn't have to be the way you think it has to be.
It feels exciting because it feels so much more expanded than what I wanted in entertainment for myself. It feels so much more soul aligned and purpose driven. And it feels like it can still be really fun in a bigger kind of way than you're trapped in a room all day.
Yeah. I mean, there's a million different ways to do this. And what might be interesting for you too, is to think about, from an action step, maybe keep a journal, and it's just a list of aspects of this that really touch, move, and inspire you. I feel inspired when I read this, or I talk about this, or so you get a sense of what really moves you about this subject matter, and your heart's going to draw you in the right direction. And who knows, you might wind up, this podcast might morph into, you may be doing a segment a month on, marriage counseling and how you can resolve conflict within partnerships.
Yes.
You could easily do that. And who knows, you may be on the street interviewing people about what is the state of their marriage and what are their biggest issues. There's a million different ways this could go. And when I really look back in my own career and I look at themes, I became a professional dancer and, got to tour the world as a modern dancer, and the reason I did it though is because I wanted people to feel the joy of movement, right? Mm-hmm. I'm still doing that. I'm helping people enjoy the movement of their own emotions and their own energy and the relief that can provide. Right. I'm just doing it in a really different way. So at the heart of it all, it's interesting. I'm still doing what always touched, moved in me and inspired me, but from a really different standpoint now. And so that's another thing that could be interesting, is to look at, what are the fundamental aspects of this that really turn me on? And, how does that relate to what I've done in the past in TV? And so how could I continue to use the aspects of, my training in TV to create more awareness around this, to help more people in a bigger way?
Right. I so agree with you. And that feels so right as we were doing. And by the way, we did tapping the first time we met, and it was amazing. You're not normally looking at yourself on a Zoom when you're doing tapping with yourself or with others, but I remember looking at myself after we did tapping, and my hair was all crazy and I looked a mess, but it was really good because you could see that something had changed, truly something had changed. And if you guys have not done tapping before, but it's amazing. When you were asking me question, or when you were making statements this time, there was one statement and I can't remember exactly what it was, but I remember feeling the push pull, in that statement. I was ooh, that feels that feels scary. I don't know if I want to give that up because my heart's like, no, 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 no. And, but I think it's just that I need to figure it out. I have to keep waiting for like the unfolding to happen. It's sometimes you just can't figure it out yet. It's just not there yet. The answers aren't there.
Well, I think we have to give ourselves time and space, and we never want to do that, right? We want everything to be solved in a minute. And the reality is that you need to give yourself time to figure out what parts of this do touch, move, and inspire you. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. I mean, I'm really focused on more of the emotional stuff now because of all the work that I did in the physical. And I just find the emotional work often so drives the physical. Yeah. And a lot of times when I'm working with people that are only have the capacity in the moment to just deal with the physical, mm-hmm. The physical issue does not resolve as quickly as those people that really want to get into the emotional, because the emotional drives so much. Again, I really believe, our bodies, when we have any kind of pain, they're usually trying to tell us something. They're trying to tell us that something that's happening in our life is not necessarily aligned with what our heart desires. That's what I think.
Mm-hmm. So interesting, you guys. Oh, so good. I just love what you do. You're amazing. It truly was such a beautiful experience to meet with you the first time and now the second time. What would you like as a last sort of thought to leave people with? What is the most important thing that they can think about or do in this moment if they are dealing with maybe chronic pain or, of the sort that they could actually do today to actually help them, besides obviously finding you, which we will do in a second?
I think it's what I said earlier. Like, if you can stop and rather than trying to subjugate your feelings or push through pain, stop and maybe look at what it's trying to tell you. So stop, look at what's happening in your life and see like maybe where you're not happy. Maybe look at where you feel like there's some kind of internal conflict with what's happening and how your heart really feels. Because then if you listen to your heart, again, it's going to point you in the right direction. So if you can stop, look and see what's happening, see what's upsetting, and then listen to your heart and ask yourself, what do I want in this situation? And a lot of times, like, I know if you just have a physical pain, you might be like, well, I just want the pain to go away. You also can say, what might this pain be related to? So what am I doing right now in my life that maybe seems big or scary, or like, what is the thing that could be causing me some anxiety right now? And ask yourself, in any conflicting situation, what do you want? Because in most cases, if you can give yourself support, if you can give yourself something that helps you in some way, move something forward, then you can wind up moving forward with much greater ease. But when you just try and say, oh, no, I have to do this or I should do this, and it's not aligned with your heart, first of all, it's going to be way harder to do. And it's going to take longer. It's not energetically efficient. Right. If you can find out what you want and then act in a way that's aligned with what you want, usually there's a way to fulfill your own needs and achieve your goal. But we don't always trust that.
I was just going to say, what if you're just afraid to do it? You're afraid to have what you want and you're just afraid of the unknown. I mean, what can you do? Is that just a personal thing?
one of the things with the unknown is that so fear of the unknown often for me and my clients is fear of not feeling supported or safe in the future. Mm-hmm. So if you can realize that you actually can make choices, we all can, that help us stay safe and free. And also we can make choices that support us even. So it's not just about safety and freedom. It's also about like, how do I get help with this?
Yeah.
And often we feel like we have to do it on our own, or we feel like we have to do it without support. That's why I'm saying, asking the question, what do I want? What do I need? What will make this easier? These are questions you can ask yourself. And I think the thing, I'm going to give you all a gift. I want to give you I have a chakra clearing routine that affects every chakra. And what it does is it works with the wisdom inherent in each chakra. The first phrase that I work with the root chakra is about just saying, I can make choices which help me stay safe and free. And so just reiterating that you can have that, you can better understand what you want, and you have the power to ask for it. That's third chakra. You are enough and you have enough to have what you want. So there's all this wisdom in all the chakras that if you can help to bring out the wisdom in each chakra, you can often overcome fears and old limiting perspectives that would keep you from moving forward. And again, most of the limiting perspectives about fear of the unknown or fear of success is the fear that we won't be supported through it, or maybe that we're not enough or not worthy of it. Mm-hmm. And if we work at anything, we're worthy of it, right? I mean, and I think we're all worthy of having anything we desire. Mm-hmm. And when you're willing to take action to achieve what you want, you're putting the time and effort in. So of course you can have what you want. You just have to believe it's possible and give yourself what you need to achieve it.
I love this. I'm going to just piggyback on that because I keep thinking about the 4 Agreements right now. Or no, I'm so sorry. I keep thinking about The Alchemist. That's right. Both great books. But I keep thinking about in The Alchemist, it's follow the signs. Just follow the signs. And as you go along the journey, pay attention to the things that come up for you and come up to you to help you find your way down that path. Because sometimes it does look different. But as long as you trust yourself is what you're saying, you can keep moving down the path, and to not be rigid or stubborn, or it has to be this way, like really releasing that so that you can feel free while still feeling supported because you check in with you. I love it. Lara, you're just amazing. Tell people how they can find you.
You can find me at my site, larariggio.com, LARARIGGIO.com. And I'm going to send you a link to the exercise I mentioned for the free gift so that you guys can have that chakra clearing routine and really feel the power of this work, because I want to put it in your hands so that you too can turn pain to possibility and open your perspective of what's possible, because you can have anything you desire. You just have to believe it and then act on those positive beliefs. So, and your heart always knows the best way. That's the other thing I'm going to say.
It's so true. Thank you so much. This has just been awesome.
My pleasure.
Thanks so much for listening to the podcast. Remember, sharing is caring. Make sure to rate the podcast and leave a review. We really rely on this to help get the podcast out there. Also, make sure to watch the video version on YouTube at That Girl the Podcast.